Baseball is back, and the first pitch is on Netflix. The New York Yankees, led by seven-time All-Star Aaron Judge, head to the San Francisco Bay to take on Rafael Devers' San Francisco Giants. This season kicks off with one exclusive opening night game. Watch MLB Opening Night, the New York Yankees versus the San Francisco Giants, live on Netflix. Wednesday, March 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
Is this our new way of life? Dominic Carter here with you. Let's open up the phone lines right now, coast to coast, 800-848-9222. Is this our new way of life? All I could think about this evening is we are in this position because Democrat presidents were so weak. Now, yes, that's a partisan statement, but it's also the truth. It's the truth. President Trump is trying to clean up the mess of Biden and Obama. And there's a reason why Biden, going all the way back to the 88 presidential campaign, wanted the nomination, never got the nomination. Biden should have never been president of the United States of America. The Temple Israel wannabe car bomber, where officials found explosives in the car he rammed into the preschool, has been ID'd as a Lebanese American granted citizenship under Obama. This is what President Trump had to say.
Before we begin, I want to send our love to the Michigan Jewish community and all of the people in Detroit area following the attack on the Jewish synagogue early today. And I've been fully briefed, and it's a terrible thing, but it goes on. We're going to be right down to the bottom of it. It's absolutely incredible that things like this happen.
Dominion University, an ROTC instructor killed by a convicted ISIS terrorist that has been ID'd. This is the lead FBI agent in charge.
It was an act of terrorism. I can tell you that we have confirmed reports that prior to him conducting this act of terrorism, he stated Allah Akbar, and he was formerly a subject of a FBI investigation in material supporting terrorism.
We're in this position because of Biden and Obama. The FBI agent in Virginia went on.
How was he deceived?
There were students that were in that room that subdued him and rendered him no longer alive. I don't know how else to say it, but they basically were able to terminate the threat.
So he was not shot?
He was not shot.
He shot 3 people?
Correct. We have information that he shot 3 people.
So that's the situation in Virginia. Is this our new way of life? Is this short term? Is this the way things are going to be? Folks, don't you see that there is one common denominator to all of this? This piece from Fox News.
Interesting, too, Jesse, if you'll pardon me for adding. The Austin shooter, I saw this from Will Kane, our colleague. Austin shooter, naturalized citizen. Old Dominion shooter, naturalized citizen. The New York teen bombers, children of naturalized, that is, citizens. And the Michigan synagogue attack, again, a naturalized citizen. It caused a question, who we're letting into this country, clearly.
I see a pattern. Thank you so much, Kevin.
You bet.
Thank you, Biden and Obama. Trump left to clean up the mess. 800-848-9222. The mayor of New York City on a defensive. That is Mamdani. In all of this environment, of all this stuff that's going on, he invites the lead ugly, nasty, anti-Semitic, terrorist sympathizer, organizer that organized those protests up at Columbia University. And remember, this is something that went national, where Jewish kids were afraid to go to college class. And what does Mamdani do? He invites Mahmoud Khalil to Gracie Mansion. And now Mamdani, with his back up against the wall, says this was all about a First Amendment right.
Mahmoud Khalil is a New Yorker who 1 year prior to the iftar that we shared with him was returning from another iftar when he was detained by ICE agents, flown to Louisiana, and held in an ICE facility. And he was held there for months, and the only charge that was levied against him was the exercising of his First Amendment rights. And I have long maintained that he and any New Yorker should be able to exercise their First Amendment rights in this city without fear of the kind of punishment that was inflicted upon him.
Mr. Mayor, can you say that with a straight face? You know that the Trump administration is trying to have him deported again as we speak. You're conveniently ignoring that aspect of the story because you wanted him for Ramadan so that you could poke your thumb in our eye collectively. Something has to give here, folks. Is this our new way of life? I was watching on television, Bo Dietl. I bump into him all the time in the hallway. He appeared and he had an earful, and we're about to begin with your telephone calls. He had an earful for New York's mayor.
How in the hell does this mayor come out and say it was anything but that? Or was it peaceful demonstration? No, Mr. Mamdani, this was a terrorist attack. If those bombs went off and 4 or 5 cops were killed, what would you say then? All you do is smile. I ran into him coming out of the Oval Office 2 weeks ago, and I told him, lay off the cops, start supporting them. All he does is smile. He thinks this thing is a joke. You're the mayor of the greatest city in the world.
Wait, you ran into Mamdani? Outside the Oval Office at that second meeting they had? You ran into him?
Absolutely. I was there going in to see the president, and he came out, and I put my finger in his face. I said, stop effing with the cops. I said, you're the luckiest man in the world. You're the mayor of the greatest city. I said, start acting like an adult. This is not a child game. It's not a game. And try to fix what you got wrong with your budget. $127 billion. That's like giving my little 5-year-old granddaughter the keys to my car. This is horrible. Right now, he wants to be the mayor of all New Yorkers. We have a real serious threat here. And on March the 20th, supposedly there's a big threat where they want to open up these sleeper cells. And if people think that they're not, you have people by themselves on their computer. These might not be real organized, but once they set them off, stuff can happen. And this mayor is living in a fog if he doesn't realize this is a threat. Okay. Also, the shutdown to the Homeland Security is a big deal. You shut it down for no reason. Yeah, and that's very important.
Let me just
TSA, all of it.
Leadership matters. Clearly, Mamdani coming out and saying white supremacy and then coming out because they were ISIS-inspired and they waived their rights. They'll go through the process. But those two young men may have traveled overseas, been radicalized. They're charged. Let me ask you about Mamdani's wife, though. So they're breaking bread with Mahmoud Khalil, and they post about Mamdani says what a tough year it's been for, the Hamas sympathizer who terrorized Columbia University. Yeah. We have that picture. Republican gubernatorial nominee Bruce Blakeman, though, is going one step further today, Bo. He wants Governor Hochul to launch a state probe of the First Lady of New York City, Rama Douaji, over her alleged anti-Semitic rhetoric. He wants a public apology. Doubt he's going to get it from the wife. We heard Mamdani say she's a private citizen. But at one point, when you're a private citizen, but you're also the First Lady of New York, do some of your statements come to pass and your actions? Clearly, it's not sitting well with those of the Jewish faith. And the post that she liked were saying that October 7th was a hoax, Bo. Do you support Bruce Blakeman in his endeavors? And do you think Kathy Hochul will do anything?
Absolutely. Bruce Blakeman is a friend of mine. He's right on with this thing. When I hear about this October 7th, I mean, all these babies that were killed, rapes and all that. Whatever Mamdani's wife wants to say, he should come out. He's still our mayor. He should say, I do not support anything that my wife says about October 7th and all that. Why doesn't he come out? Find your ball bag there, Mr. Mayor. This is really angry aggravating to me. She wants to open her mouth. She wants to say things. Disavow what she's saying if you're the mayor to everybody. Don't just let it roll along. And all he does, smile. Outside the Oval Office, he smiled at me when I said, leave the cops alone.
So we are about to begin with your telephone calls. Let me tell you what I find utterly disgusting. The Blue Room at New York City Hall. It's where legendary mayors hold their daily briefings with the media. You know what Mamdani did? He used the same Blue Room at City Hall for a prayer session. And they put down all these rugs in the Blue Room of taxpayer expense, New York City Hall, and he invited people to come to City Hall and engage in prayer with him and eat whatever food they eat for Ramadan, or literally rugs all over the Blue Room of New York City Hall. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just leave and go to a nearby temple? Why would you do that at taxpayers' expense at New York City Hall in the Blue Room? Let's begin with your telephone calls. Joe, line 4, Trenton, New Jersey. Good morning, Joe. What's on your mind?
Yeah, how you doing, Dominic? You and Boas, they're definitely right. There's a threat in this country now, and it's not going to stop. I found out there's 600,000 sleepers, terrorists. And you know, Dominic,
I don't know where you're getting that figure from. I don't want to debate it, but
I got it from a Muslim.
Say that again?
I got it from a Muslim lady who's
okay, yeah, but see, that's kind of reckless to get on the
radio
and say that and repeat that. But go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, you know, 9/11 should have never happened. We got hit twice. We were caught sleeping. I don't understand that. Islam in the 70s said we're a threat to them, that we're the great white Satan. Why didn't they just, their security, keep odds on this? And then you had the guys training to fly planes. I don't understand how all this went by.
Well, Joe, thank you for the call. It's always easy to Monday morning quarterback, woulda, shoulda, coulda. Law enforcement does an outstanding job, and that is the bottom line. Let's go to Dan, line 3 in Ohio. Good morning, Dan. Welcome to the Dominic Carter Show.
Good talking to you. Dominic,
go right ahead, please.
Iran is 2.5 times larger than Texas, and I feel that to go in there and clean everything up good, it'll take 10 divisions of our military units, tank and foot soldiers. That's about 250,000 men to do the job and do it completely.
Well, you know what, Dan, I thank you for the call, but it raises the question of, let's say that the U.S. went in there and cleaned everything up. There's still the issue of sleeper cells that are already perhaps here in America ready to go. We don't know if we just saw 2 of them in Virginia and in Michigan. It is time for a break. We are coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
Sometimes we can talk something into existence. So, and I learned this a long time ago, that words have power. And I'm almost afraid to say this, but I hope we're not at the beginning of that Hollywood movie, the 1998 action thriller, which was titled The Siege, and it starred Denzel Washington, Annette Bening, and Bruce Willis. And it centered on a wave of terrorist attacks in New York City following the U.S. abduction of a radical Muslim leader. And the movie starts out, if I remember correctly, Denzel Washington gets called to a scene, and it's a bus that's been taken hostage by 2 individuals, happen to be Muslim, and they make the people stand in front of the windows, and I think they put newspaper on the windows, and Denzel Washington is as the lead FBI agent's communicating with them, and he gets to walk up close to the bus, and then they blow the bus up. Everybody dies on the bus. And it sort of reminds me of Virginia right now. It reminds me of Michigan, what this guy tried to do with explosives in the car. And I'm just fearful. Okay, let me just, I always say to you folks, get to the point. Let me get to the point what I'm trying to say. I'm fearful that we've got a major problem on our hand. Biden and Obama gave certain people that came into the country too much power, too much opportunity, and they've come here and they hate our guts. And that's the situation we're dealing with right now. Let's go to line 4, Alice in Queens. Alice, good morning. Welcome to the Dominic Carter Show.
Yes. Hi. Good morning, Dominic. I want to share something with you. And I listen to you as often as I can. I respect you in just so many ways. And so I'm a 68-year-old woman, and I live in Forest Hills for the past 2 years. I grew up in Brooklyn. I lived on Long Island. And 2 years ago, I had an opportunity to own something in Queens. I took the opportunity. I've been living here, and I'm going to be moving. I've gone back and forth. I live in a nice building. There are many benefits here. I take the subway. I have a business, so I take the subway a few days a week. And basically what is pushing me, and I've given this a lot of thought, this mayor. And I'm a Jewish woman. I'm a Reform Jewish person with a strong Jewish identity. I have many friends who are liberals and, love the past president. And, I'm not that person. But I feel, especially recently, I'm only one person, and I'm not going to make a big difference. But to me, I can't align living here anymore. I'm not comfortable. Everything I hear about what's going on with Mandami, with anti-Semitism, to me, it's in our faces. And my Jewish Democratic friends who support him, I don't even want to have coffee with them. I'm that repulsed. So again, it's only me, but I made my decision.
I hear you, Alice, and I feel your pain. I really do. I wish you wouldn't leave, but I can understand your frustration. I'm still in shock that Mamdani took the Blue Room, the legendary Blue Room of City Hall, and held a mass Muslim prayer session in it. I don't know, folks. We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Tap the banner to learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
TaxAct knows every small business owner has different tax filing needs. With TaxAct, you can file yourself with the help of an expert, or TaxAct can do it all for you. You're the boss, the head honcho, the top banana. And TaxAct is like your loyal, trusty tax aide, ready to pounce on any tax needs you might have. TaxAct is dying to pounce on some small business tax needs. TaxAct. Let's get them over with.
Hey everybody, welcome to your 30-second laughing session brought to you by The Laughing Cow. Ready to laugh? In 3, 2, 1, and... Okay. Great job, everybody. Now unpeel a wedge of the Laughing Cow Light Spreadable Cheese, a delicious snack with 2 grams of protein and 25 calories per wedge. Feels good to have a cow, huh?
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
2 situations the feds are looking at as terror-related, being investigated as terror-related in Virginia. Old Dominion University, an ROTC instructor killed by a convicted ISIS terrorist. So that's one situation. And then, of course, we have the Michigan situation in terms of the Temple Israel. And this guy was a wannabe car bomber. Officials found explosives in the car, and he rammed into the preschool, and he's been ID'd as a Lebanese American granted citizenship under Obama. And I am telling you, folks, this is not a partisan statement. We are in this position because of the weakness of Biden, who should have never been president of the United States of America, and because of Obama, and President Trump is left now holding the bag to clean up their mess. And as far as the mayor of New York City, let me get to my Twitter account here. I'm looking at a comment from Sandra from New Jersey. Let me put it to you this way, and then I'll get to Sandra's comment. So we see President Trump almost every day from the press room at the White House, right? So imagine if President Trump was a Muslim American and the president putting down rugs in the entire room where the White House press corps is for Muslim prayers. That's what Mamdani just did in New York City in the legendary Blue Room. This is what he did. And it's been a 1-2 step. A meal with the lead protester up at Columbia University. This guy is telling us every day what he thinks of us. And you're going to hear, right after this CNN report, we're going to let you hear the Muslim Americans in the Blue Room. Normally, you're not allowed in the Blue Room unless you're an accredited reporter. It's a long process we have to go through to even get into that room. The mayor opened it up for the public for a Muslim prayer. And the question begs, Mr. Mayor, there are mosques in the area. Why didn't you just go to a mosque? Why did you do this here in a building that taxpayers pay for, in the heart of government? Why did you do this, Mr. Mayor? It just defies logic. So I'm looking at my Twitter. Sandra from New Jersey says, at Dominic TV, hi, Dominic. Mamdani leading prayers in the Blue Room was a shock to me. I see it as a huge disrespect to us. Like some are laughing all the way to the bank. He's laughing all the way with his religion pushed in our faces. This is a report from CNN, part of a report on the situation in Michigan.
Badly burned. You have new reporting on who the driver was. What are you learning tonight?
Authorities believe that their suspect is Ayman Mohammed Ghazali. This is an individual who was born in Lebanon, came to the United States entered as the spouse of somebody he was supposed to marry, was naturalized as a U.S. citizen, and is believed to be the person who was operating that vehicle that crashed into the school while firing shots and laden with explosives that caught fire. What we are told from law enforcement sources, as well as our own research into his world, is that on March 6th, or around that date, his 2 brothers and multiple nephews died in Israeli targeted bombing in Lebanon. These are bombings that targeted Hezbollah areas, which is not to suggest that we have any information that his relatives were with Hezbollah. It's just they were killed in those airstrikes. And from March 6th to this date of March 12th, that's not a lot of turnaround time, but it seems that after that, if in fact he is the person who was driving that vehicle, which is what authorities believe, he spent most of that time putting this plot together, gathering those explosives, weapons, the vehicle, the surveillance it took to figure out where to do this ramming attack that the vehicle could probably get into the building and cause probably much more lethality than the attack actually did. But that is because of their good security and a lot of luck.
So just to be clear, the Michigan suspect, the driver of that car that was badly burned, had family that was in Lebanon that was killed as the result of an Israeli strike about a week ago.
That's right, and that is who they believe the dead person that they have in that vehicle is.
And that's from CNN. So in about a minute and a half, I'm going to bring Matt Blaze into the conversation before we go right back to your calls. We see all of your calls. We're going to get to as many as possible. So as I mentioned, in the Blue Room of New York City Hall, the Blue Room, it's where the mayor holds his daily conferences with the media. You can't get in that room, generally speaking, unless you're a fully accredited journalist. And so the mayor, and I want you to hear this, it's important. The mayor is being accused of selecting pro-Islamic social media creators. He brought them to, so in other words, he wanted the message to get out. He brought them to the Blue Room of New York City Hall to promote and spread Islam in America, and again, using New York City's City Hall. What you're about to hear is a few of the young people so proud. There's nothing wrong with them being proud. So happy they're apparently Muslim. But what about the 8 million people that live in this city?
I got invited to have dinner with the mayor. Zohran Mamdani is the first mayor to host the Iftar in his office, and it was honestly so wholesome. When we arrived, the room was decorated with these beautiful carpets. We all sat down, took off our shoes, and prepared to break our fast. I personally do not like dates, but of course the mayor gave it to me, so I had to try it. The conversations at this Iftar was truly so wholesome. We spoke about our families, our Eid traditions, our favorite meals, and our goals for the rest of Ramadan. I participated, but not too much because that food was too good for me to put down. Me and him had a little one-on-one conversation about the rent prices in New York, and he said he's gonna put it down. JK, he didn't say that, but he definitely should. We became besties after, and then finished off the night with taking pictures, content, and etc. And honestly, a huge shout out to our amazing mayor. I really wish you guys were there. We felt like a family. Everything was so thoughtful and wholesome. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him, and I hope to be back here next year.
Tell me why I got invited to an iftar hosted by Mayor Mamdani. At this point, my side quests just keep getting more random. But you bet I dropped everything to head to City Hall where the iftar was taking place. Zohran's team brought together a bunch of creators to join him for iftar. And I am actually a fangirl for him. Like, I can't believe this man is real. I low-key thought he was AI because he's too jolly and charismatic for a New Yorker. This man catered a massive spread of classic South Asian food, and you can tell he loves us. Then dinner turned into intentional conversations about Ramadan and what this month means to us. My favorite part was hearing from creators who don't practice Islam but have secondary knowledge through their friends. It's so beautiful when we share traditions without judgment, because that's what New York is. We are the most diverse place on this world, and I'm so grateful to call this city my home, with a mayor like Mamdani.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. How's it
And so you heard the young lady say it in herself that she's a social media content creator. So the mayor used the historic Blue Room of New York City Hall to turn it into a temple. Rugs down, praying, food. Mr. Mayor, why couldn't you have a police detail, they drive you everywhere. Why couldn't you go to a temple in the area? Why did you have to do that at New York City Hall? And check it out, folks. He wanted these Muslim creators to spread the message. With me, before we get right back to your telephone calls, Matt Blaze. Matt, what's going on in the world here?
I don't know, Dominic. I don't. This mixing of politics in City Hall and having any religion in there is wrong.
Thank you.
It doesn't matter what your religion is.
Right. It's just
I mean,
wrong.
if he wanted to even, I could even go as far as say, if he wanted to invite them to Gracie Mansion and have that at Gracie Mansion, that's his home for the now.
That's where he lives.
He could do
I
that.
agree
I
with
don't have a
you.
problem with that. But City Hall, you're right. He's obviously doing this to make a statement, obviously inviting content creators there to spread this word about the new mayor of New York, but it's just inappropriate to do it in City Hall, to have prayer in City Hall. We have this whole thing about not mixing politics and religion because it's supposed to encompass everybody. So you are fair to everyone. Yes, you're fair to everyone's religion. So now are you going to invite everybody else's religion to City Hall as well?
That's right. That's a great point, Matt. You know how this script is going to end? It just hit me. Sometimes when there's nothing that government can do with a problem, they'll find a way to get rid of you. Mamdani's gonna mess around, and the feds are gonna open up an investigation. They're gonna find something to open up an investigation on him. Now, remember what happened to the last mayor, Eric Adams. They came after him, and then President Trump, gave him a pardon, if you will. The feds are going to have to move on Mamdani. This can't continue. Matt Blaze, this is the legendary Blue Room of New York City. He put down the rugs for Muslim prayer, brought in Muslim food, and said, I don't care what any of you think. And you're right. So now what happens when the Jewish community says, I want to use the Blue Room? What happens when the black community says, I want to have church in the Blue Room? Every single religion. What happens then?
Exactly. What is he going to say? You're going to say no? I mean, I don't know that that any religion wants to do that, but what if someone just says, you know what? Let's request that, because if you're going to do it for Muslims, then you got to do it for Jewish, you got to do it for Baptist, you got to do it for Protestant, you got to do it for Christian, you got to do it for Catholic, you got to do it for everybody.
And if you don't, they're going to sue you in federal court.
Right, because you can't just have one religion. You have to have everyone. If you want to sit there and, as he always says about everything, his line is always, it's about all New Yorkers.
That is his line.
That's his line, is to always say all New Yorkers. So if that's your line, then why aren't you inviting religious leaders of all religions to practice in the Blue Room? That's what you should be doing if you want to talk about all New Yorkers and be fair for everyone. And if you do that, then you go, okay, now you're being fair. But just to invite Muslims, prayers, food in the Blue Room in City Hall, it's just not right.
It's not. Matt Blaze, thank you very much. Let's go to John, line 3, and Yonkers. John, what's on your mind?
Yes, as a retired NYPD detective, I'm curious what Bo Dietl thinks of Twisted Justice at CNN.com.
Thank you, you idiot. I almost slipped and said something that you'd have to beat me. You know what? You're really retarded, and I shouldn't use that word. I have a special needs child. These serious matters that we got going on. Did your mommy make you your cookies today before she told you to take a nap? And did she give you the victory speech about how even though you're 55, that you're going to be somebody when you grow up? You are absolutely retarded. And I hope you're proud of yourself. Absolute moron. Let's go to, Susan, upstate New York, line 1. What's on your mind, Susan?
Well, hi, Dominic. It's a little surreal today. I lived in New York City and worked 2 blocks away from 9/11. But I spent my youth, or some of my youth, in West Bloomfield, Michigan, which, just to give like a little synopsis, that area is an area of a lot of individuals who come there to work hard, start businesses. Like my dad was an engineer, so the people not at the tippity top like Iacocca or Henry Ford Jr. They lived in Bloomfield Hills in the mansions. But this area was very diverse, even back when, I was doing high school there, and I had jobs in many different things with all different, it was very diverse, and people got along. They were all work and
No, I got it, Susan. I got to take a break. I got it. Thank you for the call. But the issue, that's not the issue. The issue is when you got some nut on some ideology, what's going to happen? Time for a break. We're coming right back.
The Dominic Carter Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Now, from New York City to the world, it's Dominic Carter.
And we are back. I'm looking at my Twitter at my ex, the lovely DMS, says, frankly, referring to Mom Donnie, he's lifting his leg on us every day. And then she goes on for a full statement. But I think I would agree with you, DMS. Let's go to line 2, Charles in New Jersey. Good morning, Charles. What's on your mind?
Oh, well, you just made a point about, I was going to talk about when they had those prayers in, in the city hall or in that room that you were talking about. And to me, like, if they ever had anything like that before, my point was going to be like, if they had like maybe some kind of, like Catholic, place, some Catholic ritual there or Jewish ritual there if they had it before. But then again, the other fellow made a good point.
Charles.
Yeah.
You do know you're not supposed to mix politics and government like that, right?
Well, I know that, but what I was going to say is the other fellow made a good point too. Whereas now,
wait a minute, wait a minute. You don't just make your point and then brush on to the next. You do understand that you're not supposed to do that. Somebody could sue right now for what he did at City Hall. You do understand that, right?
I understand that, yes. Okay, but what I was going to say was, since that happened, well, if he's going to do that, then he should allow the other face to go in there too, since he did that.
Right, but that's exactly what you're saying. You're just repeating what Matt Blaze said. That's exactly what the point. Thank you for the call, Charles. That's exactly what Matt Blaze just said verbatim. Let's go to Vincent, line 3 in Brooklyn. Vincent, what's on your mind?
Dominic, I heard your show this afternoon, and you're 100% right. Mayor Mondami is, as we would say in the street, he's up in your face, up in your grill, that if this was in the street and somebody did that to somebody else, you might get popped in the mouth. And you were right this afternoon when you said Mayor Dinkins and Mayor Adams were African Americans, and the way they governed and the way they carried themselves, they did not bring their own religion and spirituality into the Blue Room as Mayor Mondami did. As the woman said before, he's raising his leg on us like a dog every day. And another thing I want to say, this person who went into Old Dominion and killed that ROTC officer, that was let out of the joint prematurely. He was a declared ISIS terrorist, and then some judge let him out of the joint, just like the judges are doing in New York City, just like Alvin Bragg is doing in New York City. And make matters worse, yesterday, one of the chief judges of New York State was dictating him indirectly to his minions, saying you should go easier on the criminals because maybe the second, the third, the 24th time, maybe they're not as violent, crazy, or thieving as they were the 25 times before that.
I hear you, Vincent. I got to get to other calls because we're running out of time, but thank you. Here's what's going to happen, folks. I've been around this game a long time. The system cannot tolerate this man. This can't continue this way. He's going to mess up, and the feds are going to open an investigation, and they're going to take him out. Mamdani, when I say take him out, meaning I define that by convict him of something. There's no way in the world this can continue like this. This man should not be in government anywhere. Let's go quickly to John, line 4, Long Island. John, what's on your mind?
Hi, Dominic. I just want to say that we have such an uphill battle for normalcy. I don't even understand it. I often go to my local public library and I hook up to their Wi-Fi with my laptop and I surf the web or get some work done. I like to listen to WABC in the background, which I've done there before.
You got 15 seconds, John. Go ahead.
Hello?
You got 15 seconds. Go ahead, John. The program is about to end.
So it wasn't working. I couldn't get onto WABC. Then I tried Truth Social. I couldn't get on. I went to the DSA, and it went right on to their website. Went back to WABC, couldn't get on. It says unauthorized, not found. So that's ridiculous.
Wait a minute. Wait. I just told you we're running out of time, John. You're on your laptop. So if you're on your laptop, how could they be being? I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. But John, I'm out of time. I've said 3 times we've got to go. Have a great weekend, folks.
Thanks for listening to The Dominic Carter Show. You can hear The Dominic Carter Show weekdays at 3 p.m. and Monday through Thursday at midnight and Sunday starting at 11 p.m. on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?